Discover the heartwarming truth as one thirsty puppy sparks an incredible life-changing lesson for a struggling mother and her son. The sweltering heat wrapped around Sarah like a heavy blanket, each step home from the diner weighing her down even more. After 10 hours of greasy dishes and late-night coffee runs, the soles of her shoes felt like stone. At 35, the grind was relentless. Bills piled up with a stubborn persistence, and the ever-watchful eyes of her spirited 7-year-old son, Jake, felt like a reminder of every missed moment. She tried to keep up, but exhaustion threatened to drown her in its murky waters. Just when she thought she'd lost her hope, Jake's childish curiosity stumbled upon something extraordinary: a thirsty puppy, abandoned and alone at the side of the road. Tears glimmered in Jake's eyes as he knelt down, the puppy's scruffy fur and pleading gaze capturing his heart instantly. "Mom, can we take him home?" His voice was filled with urgent compassion, piercing through Sarah's fatigue like bright sunlight. She hesitated, but in that moment, she saw a flicker of hope igniting within her son, a spark she thought life had nearly extinguished. "Okay," she finally agreed, feeling a mixture of uncertainty and warmth as Jake bounced with joy. They named the pup Charlie, and Sarah secretly held on to the thought that perhaps Charlie could fill the empty spaces in their lives. As days turned into weeks, Charlie's playful nature brought a contagious energy into their home. The chaos of a new puppy added more to her plate, but it came with helps like laughter and tail wagging that colored their otherwise gray world. Jake's laughter echoed through their small apartment, chasing away the shadows of worry that gnawed at Sarah's heart. Just when it felt like they were finally pulling together, life delivered another gut punch. Her old car, the one that held together their fragile routine, broke down on the way to an important job interview. Panic flooded her mind, threatening to drown her again in despair. "I can't do this," Sarah whispered, tears stinging her eyes, thinking of Jake and how she was supposed to support him. But before despair could completely take hold, Mr. Thompson, their elderly neighbor with a heart of gold, learned of her struggles. He rallied the entire community, organizing a bake sale that seemed to burst into life overnight. "We've got your back, Sarah," he assured, and suddenly the overwhelming gesture of kindness wrapped around her like a warm hug. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." As the community poured in with trays of cookies and cakes, Sarah's self-doubt began to fade. Jake was bouncing on his feet, excitement practically radiating from him. The bake sale felt like a celebration, a chance for them to be embraced by others. But just as she began to relax, Sarah stumbled onto something unexpected: a hidden truth about Charlie. The puppy was more than just a bundle of energy. His past was tied to someone in the community who might hold the keys to a brighter future for them. Questions swirled in her head. Would she take this chance? Could their lives change because of a puppy? The stakes felt impossibly high, but Sarah could feel the weight of hope pressing against her chest. What if this kind gesture from the community brought them closer together? And what if Charlie was the thread that tied them not just to each other, but to the world around them? As the crowd gathered, anticipation filled the air, leaving the question lingering: could this truly be their moment to rise above the struggles that had chained them down for too long? Sarah felt her heart race as she looked at the growing crowd. They were here for her, for Jake and for Charlie. There was laughter and lively chatter, the kind that reminded her of simpler days, where joy didn't have to fight against a tide of worries. But a nagging voice in her head urged caution. Could she really count on this community to be a foundation for change? Little moments stood out amidst the organized chaos. The sweet old lady from 2 doors down handing a cupcake to Jake, his eyes lighting up with the same joy as when he discovered Charlie. That smile, a mixture of gratitude and pure kid-like wonder, filled her with a warmth she hadn't felt in a long time. And Charlie, sitting by Jake's side, happily lapping up water from a makeshift bowl, seemed to sense the shift too. Sarah began to walk through the crowd, her heart swelling at the kindness shown. She accepted donations and felt her spirit lift with each tray passed to her. It was overwhelming, but not in the crushing way she had grown accustomed to. Instead, it was an embrace of community, an acceptance that she hadn't expected. Yet, the shadow of Charlie's past loomed. She couldn't shake the feeling that uncovering it might lead her to a crossroads. Just then she spotted Mrs. Whitmore, the town's librarian, who had always shared a special bond with Jake. Mrs. Whitmore approached with a warm smile, but there was something unreadable beneath her pleasant demeanor. "Sarah, may I have a word?" As they stepped aside, Sarah's heart raced. "Is something wrong?" "No, dear, nothing like that," Mrs. Whitmore replied. "I've heard whispers about Charlie." Sarah felt a lump in her throat, instinctively wanting to protect her son and their newfound friend. He was a little lost pup, Sarah, owned by a family that, well, they weren't the best. But the good news is he's with you now. He belongs to a better story. "What do you mean?" Sarah's voice trembled. A mix of fear and hope battled within her. "They've been searching for him," Mrs. Whitmore continued gently. "But it seems they've moved away. The adoption paperwork that's what kept this town buzzing." A rush of emotions flooded Sarah: relief, confusion, and an inkling of panic. What did this mean for Jake and for Charlie? A little warmth turned into a sprawling idea. What if this past opened doors she never even knew existed? But part of her also felt the push of fear. Could they lose Charlie? "Please keep this to yourself for now. Let us not worry, Jake," Mrs. Whitmore urged, her tone sincere yet knowing. With a nod, Sarah turned back to the lively scene in front of her. Jake still wrapped up in his world of laughter. She forced a smile, but her mind was racing. Was it possible to hold on to the joy Charlie had brought into their lives, even if he had a family waiting for him somewhere? As the bake sale continued, Sarah's thoughts were heavy with uncertainty. The kindness around her felt like a double-edged sword, lifting her up while reminding her of all the complexities of life. Could she find her footing, even if it came at the cost of losing Charlie? In that moment of tender chaos, a new question arose: what else might these community ties reveal? Would she leap into the unknown once again? Or would she hold tightly to what she had learned? The bittersweet moment left her pondering. Could the bond between them survive the truth? As Jake chuckled loudly, sending a ripple of joy through the crowd, Sarah knew one thing for sure: Charlie would forever change them, no matter what. As Sarah stood there, grappling with the tug of possibilities, her heart whispered a question that begged to be answered. What would happen when the past finally caught up with Charlie? Sarah stood at the edge of the gathering, trying to focus on the laughter and chatter that filled the air. Yet her mind was tangled up in thoughts about Charlie's past. Each burst of joy felt like a reminder that happiness could come crashing down at any moment. Could she truly face whatever revelations awaited them? Glancing back at Jake, who was busy showing off his blue frosted cupcake to Charlie, she felt a mix of gratitude and dread. "Look, Charlie, isn't it the best?" Jake's smile was infectious. Charlie wagged his tail furiously, bouncing around, clearly caught up in the excitement of the moment. It was a sight that melted the worries knotting in Sarah's stomach, if only for a heartbeat. "Mama," Jake called, pulling her from her thoughts. He waved her over. "Can we give Charlie some of my cupcake?" His big eyes were filled with sincerity, and she couldn't help but chuckle despite everything. "Maybe just a little," she replied, crouching down to his level. "Just the frosting, okay? Too much sugar isn't good for him." As Jake carefully pulled off a piece, a voice cut through the moment, familiar yet unsettling. "Excuse me, ma'am." Sarah turned to see a man in a dark jacket, his expression earnest but his posture tense. "You have a dog there, Charlie, right?" The air thickened around her. "Who are you?" she asked, the protective mama bear instinct kicking in. "My name is Tom," he said, glancing at Jake then back to her. "I was looking for him. He was lost and I know." Sarah interrupted, her heart pounding. "Yes, not yours. He's with us now." Tom's eyes softened, revealing what looked like pain. "I know he is, and I'm so glad he's with someone who loves him. But he was taken from our family. We didn't mean for that to happen." The words surged inside her, swirling anxieties and lurking fears. "Why should I believe you? You don't even look like you care," she shot back, her voice shaking. "Care deeply. Believe me," he insisted, taking a small step toward her. "He's not just a pet to us. He's family." Jake looked between them, confusion filling his small face. "Mom, what is happening?" Sarah knelt down, cradling Jake's shoulders, but her gaze never left Tom. She couldn't let him see her fear. Not now. It's okay, buddy. Just a misunderstanding. Please, Tom continued, his tone earnest. Charlie has a better life with you, I see that, but you need to know there are things you don't understand. We did everything we could to find him. The bake sale buzz faded to a low hum as curious eyes turned towards them. Suddenly, Sarah felt exposed. The warmth of the community transformed into scrutiny. What was she supposed to do? Tom's gaze pierced through her bravado. There was desperation mixed with hope that felt genuine. But how could she trust him? Charlie had found a home. A family. Would she risk the chance of losing it all? What do you mean by better life? She challenged, trying to keep her voice steady. You want him back? After all this time? Yes, he admitted softly, stepping back a bit. But I don't want to take him from you. I know he is happy. Could she let go of the idea that Charlie was meant to be theirs? Was meant to flourish in this little family they had built? The question hung heavily between them. Sarah's heart was racing again. A mix of determination and fear. She realized this man was offering her a piece of the puzzle she had avoided. Maybe I should learn more, she thought fleetingly, feeling the weight of her choices squeeze her chest. Tom was silent now, allowing the chaos around them to return to life, but his question lingered. What if he was telling the truth? As Sarah released Jake's shoulders, Charlie patted closer, nudging her leg as if sensing the turmoil brewing within her. And there it was, the delicate balance between the pull of the past and the promise of the present. Could she unravel the truth about Charlie without shattering their newfound happiness? In that moment, Sarah caught her breath, her emotion surging in waves. She wanted to protect what she had while being open to what could be. What if discovering Charlie's true story led them all to something unexpected? Would it be worth the risk? As she turned to face Tom again, uncertainty filled her mind, but determination filled her heart. Charlie's future, their future, hung precariously in the balance. And as the crowd stirred around them, an unexpected thought gripped her. Was it too late to rewrite this story together? The crowd buzzed, yet all Sarah could hear was the thudding of her heart. She kept her gaze fixed on Tom, searching his face for any hint of deception. Jake's cupcake had momentarily been forgotten. The bright blue frosting smeared across his fingers, a sign of innocence that felt at odds with the tension surrounding them. Charlie was taken from you. But how? How did you lose him? Sarah's voice betrayed the urgency she felt. Was there more to this story, something that could tip the scale of her loyalty? Tom hesitated. His eyes flickered to Jake, then back to her. It was an accident. We were at the park and they didn't leash him properly. Charlie ran off. We looked everywhere, we really did. Pain shadowed his features, making her wonder if this was more than just about a dog. This was a family in distress. But that was a long time ago. He is happy now, Sarah argued, her voice tinged with a fierce protectiveness. He belongs with us. The sting of those words filled her with a sense of defiance, as if she was standing up for her right to love her family, her own version of happiness. He was family to us too, Tom replied quietly, his posture softening. He is not just a pet. He is part of our lives. Our kids. They miss him every day. Every word was a knife, cutting deeper into Sarah's resolve. She felt the shadows of doubt creeping in, invading the sanctuary of her home built around Jake and Charlie. Were they really the right family for him? Jake stood by her side, his blue-eyed gaze glancing between them. I love Charlie, he chimed, the innocent euphoria of childhood bringing a momentary pause, binding them all together in a fragile circle of affection. Jake, it's complicated, Sarah replied, kneeling to his level again, cupping his cheeks to redirect his focus. I want to keep Charlie safe, but the hesitation hung in the air. Tom interjected, raising his hands open in a gesture of peace. I'm not here to take Charlie away, he said. I just want to explore the truth. What if he could see both families? What if he could be part of our lives too? Desperation glinted in his eyes, and for a split second, Sarah felt the weight of the burden he carried. Could Charlie have a foot in both worlds? Would that ease the scars they carried? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the gathering, but the brightness felt distant and muted. You want me to share him? She asked, a hint of anger merging with a pang of vulnerability. How does that even work? Tom took a breath, steadying himself. We could figure it out together. He loves you, I see that. But just like with kids, if they can have two loving homes, isn't that better? More love, more happiness? Each word felt near impossible to digest. Sharing Charlie? The thought rattled her, stimulating a fight-or-flight response deep inside. What would that mean for Jake? Charlie, sensing the rising tension, inched toward Tom. He sniffed the air curiously, his tail a steady buzz of motion, and in that moment, he seemed to bridge the gap between them. A soft whimper escaped his mouth, as if he could feel the conflict brewing. Sarah suddenly felt overwhelmed, lost in a whirlwind of loyalty and potential betrayal. Could comforting Charlie mean shattering the peace she thought she had found? Tom's eyes were pleading. Just talk to my wife, and let her share her side of the story. Let us not rush into decisions without knowing more. The situation pressed down on her, and she felt small beneath its weight. This wasn't just about Charlie anymore. It was about family, their family, as the crowd around them continued with their celebrations. Laughter bubbling up, Sarah stood at a crossroads. Could love be expansive enough to embrace two families? Could she explore the possibility without losing what was already hers? She looked back at Jake. His cupcake a little smeared but his spirit bright. In that moment, Sarah knew she had a choice to make, a leap into the unknown that could lead to healing or despair. And as she pondered the implications of their next steps, a question echoed through her mind. Could opening her heart to the truth truly expand their family instead of breaking it apart? Sarah felt the heat of the moment closing in around her. The laughter of children, the scent of summer blooms, and the dappled sunlight filtered through the trees created a sharp contrast to the storm brewing in her heart. She knelt, running her fingers through Charlie's fur, soaking in the warmth that wrapped around her like a familiar blanket. This was their life, filled with smiles and carefree moments. Yet here was Tom, asking her to imagine something entirely different. Let's not rush, she murmured, her voice soft but firm, as if that would somehow make the decision easier. Jake tugged on her sleeve, his eyes wide with confusion, sensing the tension that flooded the space between them. But Mom, I want Charlie to be with us forever, he said, his small voice breaking slightly. We'll talk about it, sweetheart, she replied, her throat tightening. I just need you to trust me. It was a promise she hoped to keep, even as doubt slinked through her mind, gnawing at her peace. Tom seemed to read her turmoil. You don't have to decide now, he said gently. I know this is big. Talk to my wife and maybe you'll find it's not as complicated as it seems. You might find it's best for Charlie and for everyone. Sarah's chest tightened as she considered the implications of his words. It felt like a bridge had been built, uncertain and shaky, stretching out into uncharted territory. Could she take a step onto it? While the world around her continued to celebrate, Sarah felt her insides twist. She had built a life here, a bubble of love that included Jake and Charlie. She would fight for it, but was she willing to fight alongside Tom's family too? The thought terrified her. But what if sharing Charlie meant he could experience twice the love? Tom read the shifting expressions on Sarah's face. Charlie is such a loving creature, every dog deserves to feel that love. In that moment, Jake broke through the heaviness with his innocent clarity. Can I ask Charlie if he wants to go with them? An unexpected wave of laughter caught her off guard. The sincerity of her son's inquiry broke the tension. Sarah shot him a playful smile, though a flicker of panic grazed her insides. What would Charlie say? Maybe we should ask him, Tom chuckled lightly, even as a sheen of hope glimmered in his eyes. In a flash decision, Sarah drew in a deep breath. Why don't we take Charlie to his favorite spot at the park and see how he reacts when he meets your family? Tom's excitement was palpable as he nodded. Yes, that sounds perfect. We can make a day of it, the kids can be there too. Let Charlie lead the way. She stood up, brushing off her knees. Okay, let us do it, she said, the words spilling out of her with more conviction than she felt. As they shepherded Charlie toward the park, uncertainty warred with a thread of curiosity weaving through her heart. Could this day lead to something beautiful? Would Charlie settle into a dual life, and in turn, could her family find their own unexpected harmony? With Jake's little hand in hers, she felt the warmth of potential. Charlie trotted ahead, tail wagging, blissfully unaware of the thunderous emotions swirling around him. As they approached the park where laughter and joyful barks intermingled, Sarah took a deep breath. She was on the brink of change. What if this was the start of something more than she imagined? And through the excitement and the worry, the question lingered firmly in the back of her mind. Would fate unite them all in a way they never expected? The humans around him. The park stretched out before them, a canvas of bright colors and playful sounds. Jake's eyes widened as he took in the scene: the sun-drenched grass, the children running freely, and the sheer joy that hung in the air. Charlie, blissfully unaware of the possible changes ahead, bounced on the grass, sniffing everything in sight. With each step forward, Sarah felt her heart thump a little harder. Tom's children, a pair of enthusiastic toddlers, spotted Charlie and came running, squealing with delight. "Can we pet him, Daddy?" they chorused, their small voices ringing out like tiny bells of hope. Sarah crouched down beside Jake as the kids surrounded Charlie. "Look how much they love him," she said quietly, her voice almost drowned by the laughter and excitement. Jake beamed, his initial doubts flying away like dandelion fluff in the summer breeze. "Charlie likes them," he said, his childlike wisdom cutting through her uncertainty. "Look at how he's wagging his tail." Tom's warm smile as he watched the children brought a knot of complexity to Sarah's chest. The sight of their growing connection punctured her lingering fears, and a seed of possibility whispered softly in her ear. Could this be how it started? As the kids fawned over Charlie, she caught snippets of their innocent chatter. "Look, he knows how to sit," one exclaimed. "I love his fluffy tail," the other echoed. Charlie, always eager to please, played along, his joy contagious. Sarah stood back for a moment just watching. The scene was idyllic. The laughter flowed effortlessly, and for just a second, it felt like a glimpse into a different life, one that intertwined their family with Tom's, and offered up new beginnings flavored with laughter and warmth. "Sarah, come join us," Tom called, and her heart lurched. She hesitated, the voice in her head screaming at the implications. What did joining mean? More entanglements, more unknowns? But Jake tugged her hand, a gentle nudge toward this new chapter. "Simon, Mom. Charlie's having fun." His excitement was infectious, pulling at the edges of Sarah's resolve. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, drawn into the energy of happiness that surrounded them. "All right, Charlie," she said playfully, kneeling to grab his favorite toy from her bag. "Let us show them your best tricks." Tom watched her with a softness that warmed something deep inside her. She caught his eye, and for a brief, fleeting moment, it felt as if they shared an understanding. Maybe this was about more than Charlie. Maybe it was about healing, about opening up to new experiences that life had to offer. As they tossed the toy back and forth, laughter mingled with the soft rustling of the trees. Sarah felt a tension begin to ease. She allowed herself to imagine, just for a heartbeat, that everything could find a balance. Charlie could have more love in his life, and maybe, just maybe, their family could find a place within this uncertain new world. But shadows of doubt still lurked at the edges of her mind. After the games ended, how would they decide what lay ahead? Would love truly be enough to bridge the gaps between their families, or would the demands of practicality and routine pull them apart? As the day stretched on, and the sun dipped lower in the sky, Sarah felt the dread creeping back in. A single question echoed louder than the laughter. Was this day just the beginning, or were they teetering on the edge of something they couldn't control? The answer lingered in the warm evening air, hanging over them like a fragile promise yet to be fulfilled. And as she looked at Charlie, happily bounding between the kids, she couldn't shake the feeling that their lives were about to change in ways they had never anticipated. Would they find the courage to embrace it? Sarah glanced around at the spirited play surrounding her. The sky was painted with shades of orange and pink, and the laughter of children danced in the air like a sweet melody. Each giggle and shout pulled her deeper into the moment, reminding her of simpler times when worry didn't cloud her mind. Jake released a peal of laughter as Charlie performed a clumsy roll, captivating the kids. Sarah couldn't help but smile, her heart swelling at the sight of her son's joy. But beneath that glow, uncertainty coiled tightly, whispering reminders of what they stood to lose or gain. "Sarah." Tom's voice broke through her thoughts. "Look at Jake's face." She turned just in time to see him, eyes sparkling like stars, eyes fixed on Charlie as if he were the center of his universe. He leaned down to wrap his arms around the puppy, laughter spilling from him in waves. The moment felt so right, yet Sarah felt a knot tighten within her, a worry about the future looming like a dark cloud on the horizon. "Do you think this could work?" she asked softly, trying to gauge Tom's thoughts. Their families were different in so many ways, and here, amid the carefree energy, the weight of their differences felt suffocating. "Why not?" Tom replied, his gaze steady and gentle. "Life's unpredictable. Maybe we could help each other more than we realize." His optimism was infectious, warming her heart but still leaving traces of doubt. Could they navigate the twists and turns of their lives together? As the sun dipped lower, the soft twilight wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. Sarah felt the urge to retreat, to safeguard herself from the exposure of hope. Yet Charlie bounded over to her, tongue lolling, eyes shining bright with loyalty. "Mom, come play," Jake called, genuine and unguarded. With a heavy sigh, Sarah pushed her fears aside and picked up the toy she had brought. The air shifted as she tossed it, and Charlie took off like a shot, unrestrained happiness radiating from him. Her heart danced along with the moment, and she finally understood how far they had all come. Even in just a single day as they continued to play, Sarah noticed for the first time how Tom interacted with his kids. He was present, fully absorbed in their joy, radiating warmth that felt inviting. Suddenly, all the potential connections ahead didn't seem as daunting. "Do you think Charlie loves being here?" Jake asked between excited breaths. "Of course he does. Look how happy he is," Tom responded, ruffling Jake's hair. In that moment, Sarah leaned into the warmth of camaraderie, embracing the possibility that Charlie's love could indeed be a bridge between their families. How beautifully ironic that a puppy innocent and pure could teach them the value of acceptance and growth. But as they shared stories and laughed, echoes of unresolved questions nudged at her. Would their desire for connection endure when reality crept back in? The specter of her worries loomed larger as she watched Charlie play, blissfully ignorant of the intricacies of adult lives. With twilight settling in, Sarah found herself hesitating once more on the precipice of commitment. While laughter surrounded them, a single thought crossed her mind. Was she ready to embrace a happiness built on ashes of uncertainty? The glowing halo of light around them suddenly dulled, shadowed by the weight of unanswered fears. When would the curtain rise on their next act, and what role would she play? Sarah felt a gentle nudge against her leg, bringing her out of her thoughts. Charlie, panting and exuberant, had returned, a vibrant bundle of fur and energy. He looked up at her, tail wagging furiously, as if insisting she join in the fun. All right. She laughed, a real laugh this time, the kind that felt good. She threw the toy once more, and Charlie bolted after it, his little legs moving in a blur. Watching him weave between the kids, bursting with enthusiasm, she slowly started to feel her concerns lift. Somewhere deep down, a seed of hope began to sprout. Maybe this connection with Tom and his family could be just what they needed. "Sarah," Tom called out, gripping a handful of grass as he pretended to wrestle with Jake. "You should see the face on this kid." It was moments like these that reminded her why she had sought community in the first place. Family meant support, laughter, and the understanding that all people have struggles. Watching Tom embrace his children with playful affection was a comforting sight. Yet doubt creeped back. Just last month, she felt so isolated in her worries. Her heart still ached from the weight of it all. Would she set herself up for another fall? Jake came rushing over, panting, letting Charlie drop the toy at her feet. "Can we keep him forever, Mom?" His eyes were huge. The question was innocent but loaded. She glanced at Tom, seeing a similar glimmer of joy in his eyes. "Well, I think Charlie feels right at home with us," she replied, not entirely ready to say yes yet. As they played into the evening, stories flowed about past adventures, things that felt similar yet distinctly separate. They shared memories of failures and triumphs, subtly leaving a trail of possibility behind. Laughter intermingled with moments of reflective silence, each participant weaving a thread into the fabric of their new lives. But then, as the sun dipped below the horizon, transforming the world into shadow, Sarah's heart grew heavy once more. The laughter faded to the background, and she found herself torn between the facade of happiness and the reality of her fears bubbling to the surface. What if her heart wasn't ready? The stakes felt higher each time she let herself get lost in the moment, each laugh a soft reminder of battles yet to be fought. "Gotcha!" Tom yelled, playfully grabbing Jake, pulling him into the grass. The scene was an echo of a family she thought she had lost forever. Recognition suddenly struck her. You know, she began, drawing the attention of both Tom and Jake. Maybe we all just need to be a little braver. Together. Their eyes softened at her words, and for the first time, Sarah could feel something change not just within herself, but in the space between them. The silence amplified her heartbeat. What would it take for them to truly connect? As darkness enveloped the park, a chill settled in. The night felt thick, full of promise and trepidation. As the first stars flickered awake above them, she knew that a decision loomed, one that might redefine everything. If she could find solace in this new beginning together, what might they discover? What lessons might love teach them next? Sarah sat on the grass, the chill of the evening creeping into her bones as she watched Tom and Jake continue their playful antics. Charlie scampered back to them, his toy forgotten, tail wagging like a little flag of excitement. She couldn't help but smile as she absorbed the pure joy radiating from them. Tom's laughter was infectious, echoing through the park as the two of them rolled in a heap of giggles and grass stains. "Come on, Sarah," Tom called over, his breathless voice filled with warmth. "Join us. It's your turn." A swell of happiness battled with the familiar weight in her chest. The sight of them, all of them, felt like a fleeting flash of what could be. Still, the anxiety hovered like a cloud above her, threatening to rain on her parade. Could she be part of this? Could she let herself truly belong again? With a deep breath, Sarah stood up, brushing the grass off her pants. She felt every pair of eyes on her, encouraging. As she approached, Charlie bounded towards her, giving her another nudge as if to say, "You can do this." "All right, you little lovebug," she said, grabbing the toy from the ground. "Let us see who can catch it first." With that, she launched the toy far into the darkness. Charlie dashed after it, legs flying in a full sprint. Laughter erupted from Jake and Tom, and Sarah couldn't help but join in, her heart fluttering at the sounds surrounding her. The laughter of children felt like a balm on her soul, lifting her spirits a notch higher as they played. The world outside of this moment faded. The fears and worries of tomorrow slipped away, replaced by the simple joys of connection, of proximity, laughter, and lightness. But as Charlie returned, the toy triumphantly clutched in his mouth, seconds slipped into minutes, and the undeniable pressure of that decision loomed closer. Could she let herself be vulnerable? Could she allow her heart to be part of this blossoming world? "Mom!" Jake shouted, breathless and radiant with glee. "You're awesome at this. Can we do this every weekend?" His enthusiasm was contagious. For a fleeting moment she could see the possibility. Were they all just a little brave this time around? Pushing her fears aside, she took their exuberance to heart. "Of course, we can start a whole weekend tradition. Charlie will be our official mascot." Tom looked over, a smile breaking across his face, eyes glinting with an understanding she had longed for. "That sounds like a plan. The more the merrier." But beneath the surface, uncertainty stirred. Sarah felt her heart pound. The shadows around them cast a sudden pang of doubt. What if she leaned in too much? "Can we really?" she asked quietly, the words spilling purely from her heart, echoing her inner turmoil. "What do you mean?" Tom replied, brow furrowed for a moment, sensing the shift in her tone. "As in, can we really form a bond like this? I mean, without the chance of getting hurt again?" The vulnerability in her voice surprised even her. He took a step closer, concern etching his features. "We're in this together. Every step of the way." His affirmation wrapped around her like a warm blanket, and for a moment hope flickered brightly. But as the stars twinkled low above them, she wondered if she could truly embrace that promise. Could she trust again? A sudden bark from Charlie interrupted her thoughts, and she smiled. Perhaps love was not just about trust, it was also about taking that leap of faith, however scary it might feel. As they settled into laughter again, a realization hit her. Maybe this was the start of something beautiful. But would she be brave enough to let it unfold? As she looked into Tom's eyes, a storm of emotions swirled within her. What kind of family could they build together? What would they have to face next as they navigated this uncharted territory? The next few weeks unfolded like chapters of a well-loved story, with Charlie at the heart of every page. Sarah found herself growing more comfortable with Tom, and the playful bond between Jake and Tom's kids deepened. Every Saturday turned into a gathering filled with laughter, games, and the kind of warmth that chased away shadows. But as charming as it all seemed, a whisper of anxiety still danced at the edge of her mind. Sharing Charlie was like floating on an exhilarating high, yet Sarah couldn't shake the worry that one wrong move could sever the delicate threads they'd woven. Would their happiness withstand the test of time? One crisp Saturday afternoon, as leaves crunched underfoot, Sarah glanced around the park, watching her son laughing with abandon. What if this all falls apart? She pondered, anxiety coiling in her stomach. The sun dipped low, casting soft golden rays, illuminating the joyful faces gathered around. Tom approached Sarah, brushing aside her quiet fears with a warm smile. "You all right?" he asked, brows slightly furrowed. "Just thinking, Sarah replied, her voice taut with hesitation. "About sharing Charlie and everything. What if we all get too attached? I mean, it's wonderful now, but what if it changes?" His expression remained soft, as if a fatherly instinct kicked in. "Change is part of life," he assured her. "But sometimes it brings more good than you expect. Look at how happy the kids are. And Charlie? He brings joy no matter how many homes he has." Hearing his perspective eased the knot in her chest, if only a little. "You're right, I guess," she admitted. "It's just that what if the day comes when he has to choose?" Tom placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, let us cherish these moments." The honesty in his voice resonated within Sarah, brightening the shadows of doubt. Watching Jake wrapped around Charlie with infectious joy, she felt her heart soften. Would sharing Charlie actually bind their families, making them more resilient together? Later that evening, as the sun set in a brilliant display of colors, the kids collapsed in a tired heap, giggling and chasing fireflies, their laughter mingling with the chorus of crickets. It was a blissful noise, the soundtrack of newfound connections. Sarah looked over at Tom, who was holding his own child close, their contentment palpable. "Thank you," she said, her voice almost a whisper, as she sensed the layers of their relationship deepening. Before Tom could respond, a shout pierced the night. Jake came bounding over, excitement radiating from every atom. "Mom! Listen!" Sarah knelt down to his level. "What is it, sweetie?" "Charlie just did the cutest thing. He chased his tail and then he fell over." The series of events Jake painted brought forth a burst of laughter in Sarah, and she felt lighter. Would embracing this joy offer her new strength? "Can you imagine?" she said, sharing a conspiratorial look with Tom as they burst into laughter. As the days shaped and shifted, a newfound trust blossomed. Charlie navigated between homes seamlessly, embodying love's expansive nature, while Sarah embraced the ebb and flow of connections around her. She realized that love didn't have limits. Instead, it grew and transformed, weaving lives together in ways she had never imagined. One day, while they were all gathered for a picnic, a truly family affair, Sarah extended an invitation to Tom and his kids to join for the upcoming holiday celebration at her place. Her heart raced. "I want to host everyone," she managed, feeling a mixture of hope and vulnerability. Tom's eyes lit up. "That sounds amazing." "Really? You think they'd enjoy it?" she asked, wanting to ensure this was a good step. "Sarah, I think they'd love it. Just look at how they interact. It only shows that this bond is real," he reassured her, grounding the fluttering uncertainty that rose within her. With a grateful smile, they shook hands over the idea, an agreement that felt monumental, solidifying their connection once more. As the day of the celebration dawned, Sarah prepared with a bustle of excitement and nerves. The familiar weight of uncertainty lingered, but now there was a counterbalance of courage. Would their families resonate like the perfect melody? The doorbell rang and her heart fluttered. As she swung open the door, the sights that greeted her melted her apprehensions. Tom and his children arrived with arms full of treats and smiles that illuminated her living room. "Happy holidays!" they chimed together, filling the space with warmth and clarity. In that moment, Sarah's heart swelled beyond words. The evening unfolded like a fairy tale, vibrant and full of laughter. The kids played together, bliss flowing between them, while adults leaned into camaraderie. Amidst festive lights and shared warmth, magic flickered in every smile, and Sarah knew that their bond was growing stronger as night descended. They gathered around the table to share stories and laughter over a feast, embracing both old traditions and new beginnings. Charlie snuggled happily between them, embodying the spirit of connection, his presence a thread woven through the fabric of their lives. And suddenly, in that moment of shared joy, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. These weren't just fleeting encounters, they were roots taking hold, anchoring her heart in ways she had once feared. As her spirit ignited from the love surrounding her, she realized they were more than just shared puppy parents. They were becoming family. The night closed with warm goodbyes resonating through hearts intertwined. Sarah waved the last guests off, and as she turned back inside, she found Jake cradling Charlie. "See, Mom? We're a family." Tears of joy brimmed in her eyes. "Yes, buddy," she whispered, "we truly are." And finally she felt free. Free to embrace the flow of life, free to love without boundaries, and most importantly, free to believe that together they could rise, not just above their past, but into a future woven brightly with hope, laughter, and warmth. So she made a silent vow, the whisper of a promise as the moonlight shone down, that this love would endure. As the warmth of their newfound family wrapped around her, she understood the importance of connection. It wasn't just about Charlie. It was about the journey they all took together. Now, as you reach the end of this heartwarming tale, don't forget you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that can inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help more hearts connect with uplifting transformations. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, and let us know how this story touched your heart. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation today. This is the moment to show your support, and together let's continue building a community grounded in love and connection. Don't wait not even one more second to share.